I believe that I found some cool news when it comes to ZBCN. Even though nothing I say is financial advice, what is that? It's this right here. And the reason why I think this could be massive for the future of ZBCN, especially during this bull run, is because I feel like the hype for AI is going to enter in a very massive way. And I believe that it will hypothetically become a lot bigger than what we saw not too long ago. But even before I get into that, let's talk about Zebec real quick and why I think it could make a big impact in the AI space and why news like this could be so beneficial for its future. When we take a look at Zebec, not too long ago, actually around 3 hours ago, right, at the time of this recording, but even besides that, it says that partnerships, Zebec X, or should I say and, CLI app. Now, I haven't heard about this, but who really cares? Because even though this post on X, people may think, who cares? But I think it's good because it's related to AI. It says that we're teaming up with CLI AI, an AI infrastructure project empowering developers to deploy and scale AI agents autonomously. That's very amazing. Now it says CLI supports, or should I say CLI support lands on Zebec Silver cards this week with a custom CLI debit card on the way. So I do really like this, right? It says again CLI and Zebec Silver down there. The card looks pretty cool in my opinion. Now, is this going to become the biggest thing of all time to happen to Zebec? Absolutely not. It's not really that massive in the grand scheme of things, but I like the direction when it comes to Zebec because when people usually think about Zebec, at least from people that I know, they think about, hey, it's a project that is a gimmicky version of XRP XLM. It's nothing that interesting. But something that people often overlook is Zebec's focus on AI-based PayFi. And I talk a lot about, AI-based PayFi when it comes to Zebec because I think it could be so massive. On top of me hypothetically believing that ZBCN could maybe go to the price of 10 cents during this bull run, even beyond that thought, right? What I think could be so massive for its future, again, is its focus on AI-based PayFi because AI, right? The AI market is expected to be worth nearly $2 trillion by 2030, according to Grandview Research. That's very massive right there. So when it comes to that market, I highly doubt that all the hype is gone and all these type of projects that are focused on that are going to disappear. No, I don't think so. I think it's going to become a big narrative again, especially if the altcoin season is in fully fifth gear. Man, this could be a very special time when it comes to Zebec. And also what I like about Zebec is that I feel like now they're not really promoting too much like what I saw before about, we're kind of focused on the same things as XRP next time. It kind of felt like that vibe. I'm not saying exactly that, but it just kind of felt like that vibe. But now that I see their shift towards AI, I think they understand that, what? People already know that we're focused on the same markets as Ripple and Stellar. Why do we need to keep saying that? Why not, promote, or should I say kind of like showcase that we're also focused on AI a little bit? You know what I mean? And I do like this when it comes to Zebec because it shows that as a project, they're willing to change, they're willing to pivot. They understand that, the markets, we just can't force them to believe things that we want to, right? We have to also take a look at what do people care about, and people care about AI. And let's face it, right? I care about AI as well. I think it's amazing. And I think projects that are focused on that hypothetically, will do well during a fully fledged bull run. So when I take a look at Zebec having this focus and having more of an increased sort of focus on it, I would assume this is what I really like because often than not, right? Or should I say most often than not, people don't really think about Zebec as a project that is focused on AI because if I ask a lot of my friends, hey, what's a project that's focused on AI? They're going to say BitTensor, EOS, something like ASI. They're not going to say, Zebec. You know what I mean? They don't really care. Most of them don't even know what it is. So the way I view it is that this is a perfect project for me, at least. Market cap, not too massive. And, when it comes to AI, that's a no-brainer for me, projects that are focused on that, the ones that are good, of course. Now, is 10 cents a little bit ridiculous? I don't really think so, because if ZBCN were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap, nearly $8 billion, around a 60x from here, I get it, ZBCN had a slight pullback, but really when things pop up by that much in such a relatively short amount of time, a pullback is bound to happen, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to hypothetically head in a positive direction, generally speaking, once the bull run is in fifth gear. I'm not going to sell ZBCN, when the price is going down like this. It doesn't make any sense to me because the way I take a look at it is this. Some people out there, they bought ZBCN when the price was a little bit high. So then when they see the price going down, they're like, oh man, if only we could break even. Now, here's the way you take a look at it. What is the point for me to enter the world of cryptocurrencies if I'm just going to wait to break even, like what? At that point, why don't I just buy gold or the S&P 500? You know what I mean? What's the point of even trying? For me, I'm not going to just leave when I break even. Like a 2 or 3x is even a little bit boring. It's very boring in my opinion. Anything under a 10x, I think is so boring really in the world of cryptocurrencies because like, what is that all about? If I wanted to look for less than a 10x, I'd be in stocks, I'd be in, some random nonsense. I wouldn't even be caring about cryptocurrencies, but I do care about cryptocurrencies. And again, the way I view it is that I'm in it to hypothetically see what this could maybe become during a fully fledged bull run, and I'm very excited. Especially Bitcoin keeps heading in a positive direction. Now there's a slight pullback, I'm totally aware of that, but if the positive direction keeps heading in the right way, like let's say all the way up until the end of near this year, let's say, you know what? When it comes to 200,000, 300,000, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And when it comes to ZBCN at that point, going along with the ride, I really don't see why not. But again, seeing news when it comes to ZBCN kind of promoting their focus on AI, I would say, that's a big thumbs up for me, and I do really like that. Not to mention as well, when we take a look at something like payments market, valued at over $2 trillion currently, so maybe even already more massive right now than what the AI market is predicted to be worth, at least according to Grandview Research by 2030. So the payments market is very massive right there. Not to mention, we take a look at something like the global trade and finance market, which is predicted to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028, according to Mordor Intelligence. So when it comes to ZBCN, it has all the right pieces in place. So it's kind of amazing, right? A project that is very similar in nature to Ripple and Stellar. Now, of course, Ripple aka XRP, Stellar aka XLM, but even besides that, kind of similar to that, but then it has an AI aspect. That's a cherry on top right there, because naturally, a lot of people, they do love XRP, they do love XLM, especially with the XRP nonsense with the SEC, hopefully allegedly dropping forever. Because of that, people now, they really love XRP more than ever before, maybe in my opinion, at least in terms of the sentiment this time around. Not to mention, when it comes to something like XLM, of course, it benefited from that. But then sometimes people are like, okay, we like those type of projects. However, at the same time, they may also like AI projects or projects that are focused on that, generally speaking. And when it comes to ZBCN, it's the perfect match in between for me. Focus on the same markets as Ripple and Stellar, but then it has the aspects of AI. That's a combo right there. That's a combination. Like Drake said in a video I think I saw, he said, combination. It's a combination right here. So this is what I like. Not to mention, when I view something like ZBCN, people seem to think, oh, it's not going to become a big narrative because the market cap is too low and all this. I get it. It's not a multi-billion-dollar market cap when it comes to ZBCN. But does it really matter? Because isn't that kind of the point? My key or my goal for me is to believe in projects that haven't really had that mainstream hype and attention yet. And when it comes to ZBCN, I think it perfectly kind of represents something like that, which is why I do like it so much. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's Mali the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.